Namaste everybody, and welcome here. And this is Hindu Lounge number 52, and we have with us a team of experts and community activists. Ajay bhai, welcome.
I've been here. I was just waiting for you to introduce. All right.
No, please go ahead. Hindu Lounge number 52.
And we always have to start with Maya Durga Namaste.
Maya Durga.
Right. And so welcome everyone. This is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is our weekly live show brought to you by Hindu Pact, which is a policy research and advocacy initiative of World Hindu Council of America, VHPA. We come live every week on Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. And Utsada, this is episode number 52. So let me first introduce Utsada. Utsada is Utsav Chakrabarti. He is the executive director of Hindu Pact. And I am Ajay Shah. I'm the president of World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA. And today, Utsada, is a really somber occasion. I don't know if, how many people can escape the sorrow that has come from this news that we have been reading. We have been seeing pictures, and we'll talk about, the way the reporting is done and all of that. But today, I mean, for all the Hindus who live anywhere in the world, all of us who consider Bharat or India to be our Matrubhumi, even though we may be ethnically Indians or non-Indians, or people of Indian origin, not Indian origin, the millions of Hindus who are not of Indian origin, but whether they are from Bali or they are from Kenya or they are from, who have, adopted Hindu dharma and way of life, for all of us, Bharat is a Punya Bhumi. And in this Punya Bhumi, our Punya Bhumi is going through unprecedented times. If you look at the news, Utsada, there are 400,000, close to 400,000 detected COVID cases in Bharat in this second wave. And not only that, the number of deaths have been also inching up. Now, we will get into it and I'll put the numbers in perspective. But the tragedy at the human level means that all of us, all the Hindus anywhere in the world, we all have to band together and help people who are in need. Utsada, today we have four very special guests who have joined the show. You know that we usually do not have guests in this show, but today is a very unusual day. It is a day where, everyone is banding together, and who better to have on our show than Arun Kankaniji, who is the president of Seva International. And Seva International, as you know, has taken a lead, has donated millions of dollars, and I won't steal Arunji's thunder and let him speak about it. We are also going to have Dr. Prasad Garimela from Seva International join us. He will provide his not just Seva perspective, but also a medical perspective on why this second wave. Also with us today is Amitabh Mittalji. Amitabhji, I believe, has been on this show once before. Amitabhji is the General Secretary of World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA, and he has been leading, the efforts for COVID Seva. And also with us, Renu Guptaji. And Renuji is the Vice President for Seva and Support a Child for World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA. So we have four people who have dedicated countless years of their lives in doing Seva, and especially when it comes to COVID. I know that they have been working night and day, because I see the text going forward at 1 o'clock in the morning and 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think, it is just, it's an honor. It's an honor to have everyone here. Utsada, before we go to the guests, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce the subject, and then just dive into the question and answers that you may, that we have for our guests, and just, let's just get into it. So Utsada, over to you.
Thank you, Ajay bhai. And this is a very, very, very somber show. Usually in our show, we do not have guests. but because of the crisis that has visited India and is wreaking havoc in the community. Uh, there are more than 400,000 cases in just one day yesterday, and I do not think that it is going to go down in the next week or so, because there is a transmission that is going on across several parts of the country right now. Most of the transmission is happening in pockets of Maharashtra, which is in the western part of India, and in the capital region of Delhi. There is some happening in Kerala, which is in the southernmost part of India. So what Seva International and different Hindu organizations, including ours, the World Hindu Council of America, has done is they are making every possible effort to fill in the resource gap at the grassroots level, whether it is buying and sending oxygen concentrators, whether it is buying and sending oxygen generators, as well as multiple individual resources to people, so that they can buy what is needed in this time of emergency. So I would start with the Seva International, because Seva International has done a tremendous job, and they have literally raised $7 million just on Facebook in 1 week. And that is no mean feat, given the fact that this is all done without any big promotional campaigns, without much of an overhead, and the base of the support is not big money. It's the average people in America, the common men and women across the country, who are chiming in with small little donations. So a tremendous amount of effort, a tremendous amount of goodwill is being generated through the efforts of Seva International. And we will go into that in detail with Arun Kankani ji.
So that just one correction, that is just the online fundraising.
Online, that's what I said.
Yeah,
it's just on Facebook.
A whole universe out there which is not online.
Correct. That is very true. And probably an equal amount has been collected that is not online.
But we'll let Arunji
talk about it, and that would be one of our questions. But there is also a lot of effort being made at the grassroots level in India, because organizations like Seva International, I don't know how many of our listeners know that, but they have one of the largest network of ground level activists in India. Same with World Hindu Council of America. So, you won't read about this in mainstream American media. You won't see an article in CNN about it. You won't see New York Times talk about it, Washington Post talk about it. But this is what is actually making a difference on the ground. And that's why we are here to talk about it and let the world know the amount of effort that is being put in on the ground by hundreds and thousands of volunteers. And it is important that we show this side of our community. So, Ajay, would you like to start with the first question?
No, Utsada, I think I just want to ask Arunji to just tell us first, kind of just tell us. So this is the sequence we'll follow. So that let's first have Arunji talk generally about what Seva International is, because a lot of people may not even know or may not have heard of Seva International, although it's very unlikely. But there are people who are listening to this show because we are also on Tag TV. So there are a lot of new people who may not have heard of Seva International, what it does. So we'll ask Arunji to introduce Seva International and the activities that Seva has done in US. We will then ask Amitabh ji and Renu ji to introduce the Seva aspect of VHPA, because I don't think we have done a show specifically on Seva. So a lot of people know our advocacy platforms, but they don't know the Seva aspect of it. Renu ji is, obviously involved with Support a Child as well, and we should do a separate show on Support a Child. But Renu ji is involved in a lot of activities related to COVID Seva, and Amitabh ji as well. So give an overview of what VHPA Seva activities are, and then talk about the specific to COVID, all the activities that VHP has done, which is quite a bit. I mean, and I'll let Amitabh ji talk. So let's start with Arunji, and then go over, then go to Amitabh ji, and then Renu ji in that sequence. I believe Dr. Garimala has not joined yet. Correct, Arunji?
Yeah, he may be joining. He is on the call. and he may be in the emergency room. So once he's available, he may be able to quickly join.
Perfect. Thank you.
He's a emergency pulmonologist, so he's in the hospital right now.
Okay.
So thank you for having us, and glad to share the efforts of Seva and the overwhelming support and trust that has been received by Seva during this pandemic to support the efforts in Bharat in this difficult situation. Seva International USA started in 2004. We are presently having chapters in 43 cities in USA. Seva's mission is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. So the vision of everyone should be happy is the vision, and all-encompassing vision of what our scriptures and Hindu philosophy says. And that is the reason why we call ourselves as Hindu faith-based organization. We call ourselves Hindu faith-based not because the organization is religious, or we are only Hindu volunteers, or we are only for Hindu people. No, our vision is the true Hindu vision. The ideas and principles that really drive us, motivate us, are the ones which is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, let all be happy, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is one family, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, this universal oneness, uh, give more than what you take. So all these principles, which are basically coming from our philosophy, is the one that drives us, and that's why we call ourselves as Hindu faith-based organization. Across the world, Seva International Movement is now in more than 25 countries. In UK, the activity started in, if I remember correctly, 91. Then in Bharat, in India, in Delhi, the Seva International started in about 91. We are used in USA and other countries also. The main focus of the Seva International is to serve local community. But certainly across the world, the Seva Bhav, wherever the need is there and our ability and resources are there, we serve across the world. Obviously, there is special affinity for Bharat, it being the Punya Bhumi, the people where the place where the knowledge and these all the great ideas have come. So, for example, Seva USA has contributed in more than, I think, almost 10 countries now over last 10 years. In this COVID also, we supported nearly 6 countries where we have some connections, and the need was there, and we had the resources to support them. Right now, the efforts in USA had been continuing since March, and it is well documented on our website, sevausa.org. I will not go too much in detail. Overall, the uh, epitome of it, or the just to give a big picture, in the last about a year, we have, along with all the organizations, dharmic organization, mobilizing the community organizations, we have been able to make the effective contribution of services and goods and distribution of more than $50 million in USA. This is in kind and in services and everything, and this is continuing. In fact, even today, so every weekend, right now in multiple cities, the food distribution is happening where truckload of material, ready-made food package with the help of the federal agencies, we are distributing. We are also helping significantly FEMA, partnering with FEMA in multiple cities to help them in the vaccination, because vaccination is very, very essential at this point of time. That is our real guarantee of fight against this pandemic. We are also having a proactive initiative, community-based health initiative to fight the mental health challenge, which is inevitable after this pandemic, or it is happening already. And this is the longest challenge which is going to be there. And we are having a wonderful program to proactively fight that challenge also. So all these things are in the COVID relief in USA is happening. Seva International overall has many programs in USA. Our focus as it is that aid local communities and promote volunteerism besides the disaster relief. So we have a youth focused program which perhaps is very unique in USA. At least if I can say from the Indo-American community, from the Hindu community, we have the internship program where this year we are running it in more than 20 cities, where the high schoolers participate in actual service in the local community. They get engaged, they get the first-hand experience. We believe that experiencing the joy of service is the real purifying method for an inspirational and motivational way to really continue a life full of giving. So this is the with this thought we have this program, and exposing these teenagers to the socially conscious leadership in the community is another aspect where they interact with the leaders, who's who of the community, to understand what really drives them in while in being excelling in their own profession, how they really uh, this mindset of service and giving to others, how really it inspires them. So this type, and similarly we have for the college students program, we have international internship program. So those programs continues. We are heavily invested in the education here. We have program called Aspire, which is mainly focusing on underserved communities, uh, education, homework support, and we work very closely with the school district to understand what is the need, and we may at many places act as the connector between the community and the school district. So that in the education field is also happening in multiple cities in USA here. We are very much into the disaster relief, not only supporting financially other countries, but in USA directly aiding in the, as I mentioned, in the COVID, before that in the Harvey or in the California fire. We have participated, mobilized not only our volunteers, but the whole community and all the community organizations, and work together as a force to really support the people who needed it the most. So besides that, we also have the various local service activity where we do the local community service, engage the families. One of our major flagship program, or the main contribution you can say, which is very much needed in the community, a culturally sensitive family services case management program. And this is really to help the families when there is a need in a very positive way. And in the last few years, the stories that we now we have passed through, we have supported people. Every single story of them is really kind of heart touching, and it is heartwarming in the sense that the community has been able to come together and help in those cases to people in the need. So family services program with its case management, with the Stop Diabetes Movement program, with the yoga therapy, as well as the educational and wellness awareness program. So these are all the programs which are continuing in USA. So this I just gave you the overview as you requested me, if I understood correctly.
Yeah, no,
And if
this was
I
very good
digressed,
because
then I don't know. This was
the
the
reason,
overview of
yeah.
the Seva in USA.
No, this was very good, Arunji, because what I wanted to do was establish for people who don't know about Seva, very few, but people who don't know about Seva International too and Seva USA, to actually get the perspective that this is not an organization just sprang up overnight. There's a history and a credibility that the organization has built in serving the community, and this is this organization is well positioned to continue serving the community during the COVID time. So that is why I wanted to, wanted you to kind of just go over the, all the accomplishments that Seva has. Amitabh similarly, if you can introduce the Seva aspect of VHPA minus support a child, which Renuji can talk about a little bit, because what we are trying to do is establish that VHPA, just like Seva, has a long history of serving the community. And what we are doing for COVID is building up on that credibility that we have established in the society, and we are taking it one step forward and responding to the emergency that has arose in terms of the COVID humanitarian crisis in Bharat. So Amitabh ji, please unmute yourself and talk about the overall Seva activities that VHP has done. And Renuji will obviously, as Seva VP, can always can add to that, and also maybe focus more on some of the things that Support a Child has done over the last 40 years that Support a Child has been around. So Amitabh ji, over to you.
Namaskar, everyone. Humbled, emotional, and a lot of weight. And I say is VHPA being established for now over 50 years has been main concentration have been that in the Hindu philosophy is passed on to the next generation. And the next generation, I think, is now realizing that we need to do something in United States as well as back home, because we're still connected by soul to the Bharat and the philosophy that is passed on from our parents down to us. So this generation is taking on that task, which Seva is aptly doing, of the VHPA, that yes, we have to do Seva here also, not only in Bharat. We do a lot of Seva projects from VHPA side in United States now. And we are more, this COVID situation is I'm too emotional. I'm sorry. Within days, when you find out, hey, the numbers are going up of daily detections from 180,000 to 230,000 to yesterday it was like over 400,000 people identified. And then you talk to the doctors. I think one of the doctors on the panel, he would agree that if you have 400,000 people who are tested positive, there are up to 2 million out there who have not even tested yet, 5 times the number. So the situation is really grim. And what do we do? And we happen to get an opportunity to immediately send, they said there's a shortage of oxygen supply. There's the oxygen plants that were supposed to be established were not established. What do we do? So we were able to acquire some industrial grade, military grade equipment that can generate a lot of oxygen very rapidly, and also can provide to a hospital setting or a setting with a large group of people can be supplied oxygen at the same time. We were able to airlift these machines to India within a week. It just the hard work of all the volunteers in Chicago, and many thanks to Dr. Umang Patel, who generously purchased these machines, valued well over $1 million, and to approach World Hindu Council of America in support of getting the logistics of it, getting it to Bharat. And I'm happy to report that all 3 units are now in Bharat, and they've been assigned to various hospitals. I am waiting on official letter from Bharat that will exactly define where these machines went. But just to let the audience know that these machines were donated to Udana Rotary Foundation, who's working with the NDRF, National Disaster Relief Program of India, which is equivalent to almost FEMA here. And they are deciding where these machines will go. They're not going to an individual or private hospital. These are going to be handled by the NDRF. In addition to that, we are from Chicago. We're supporting any kind of logistics need that anybody needs. I have been receiving calls from Atlanta, Houston, Maryland, all these places, people who want to get the product, because we moved the machine within 3 days.
Amitabh ji, hold that thought. We'll come back to you on the details of how to do Seva in just a minute. Let me get. I just wanted to establish that the organizations first, and then come back to specifics of the Seva actions, and then you'll have the opportunity, if you have slides you want to show or a video you want to show, we can show that as well. Let me bring, I know that Prasad ji is also on the call. Prasad ji will get back to you in just a couple of minutes, but let me go to Renu ji. Renu ji, you've been involved in Seva activities for a very long time, including Support a Child. You don't have to talk about just Support a Child, but overall Seva activities that you are, on behalf of VHPA that you have been doing over the past few years. If you can just give a quick overview I know that disaster relief is a big part of the activities that we have done, whether it's hurricanes around the world and earthquakes and building a village in Gujarat and all the other activities that we have done all through in Kutch rather, and all the other activities that we have done all through the years, right? So maybe you can take a couple of minutes and talk about the overall Seva activities and Support a Child. And once we have established that these are legitimate organizations that have been working in the community for decades, the Seva International or VHPA, then we can go into specifics of the COVID-related efforts that we are doing. So Renuji, please go ahead. Renuji, you're on mute.
Namaskar. Thank you so much. Very quickly, VHP has been involved in different Seva activities at local chapter levels all around. Like every year, every day, there's something going on. So I don't have to be very specific, but take an example, like through different Bal Vihar or different volunteer work we do. Also from Hindu Women Network, there have been some Seva work being done all the time. But Support a Child is a very specific project which I have been leading. And in last, even this 40-year-old program, not for 25-year-old, but in last 5 years, we have taken up very well. Last year, we supported 3,500 children all over Bharat. These children stay in the hostels from first grade to 12th grade and 85 hostels in 20 plus states. So it has been pretty successful project. Through during Corona time, we also did some service and were supported from here. So this is a Support a Child project in very, very brief. Okay, there's a website, everybody can go SEC USA or Support a Child USA and to get all the activities. This is an ongoing project. As far as the other activities going on as a Seva, other than disaster relief, just like I said, there has been always like in Corona time, we did a lot of Seva work in different cities, like giving the food to the shelter work. And this is like ongoing process for every chapter. I would say that rather than be very specific about this. If for Corona, we have taken up one project, VHPA. So if Ajay wants me to talk right now, I can do that or I can do later.
Just please hold off for a second and let's do the second round. And so let me go back to Arunji. And Arunji, if you can talk briefly about the efforts that you have done so far on the Corona related Seva, and then and then maybe we can go to Prasadji and also there's some specific questions for Prasadji as well. And so I'll turn it over to you, Arunji, and please take a couple of minutes and talk about the Corona-related Seva activities, ongoing as well as a little bit on the past, but also the new activities that are ongoing.
I think that to be very brief, it will be very easy for me to share the video of it's just a 1-minute video, but it captures essence of what is all going on. So if you allow me to share the screen.
Yeah, your screen is, your share is enabled.
Sure. Okay. So So that was just a briefly what is all happening. It was shown a lot of effort is going on in sending the oxygen concentrators, in providing other equipment, helpline, distribution of the essential kits. So all these things are, and also not only sending the material, but helping other organizations who are trying to figure out how to transport the material, helping them. So these all things are happening at this point of time. But I know that Dr. Prasad ji is here. In fact, Dr. Prasad Darimela and Shrikant Gundavarapu, these are the two stalwarts from our Atlanta chapter president and vice presidents who have really kind of are in the forefront of this whole effort in terms of figuring out what needs to be done, interacting with the doctors, community leaders, hospital administrators to understand the need, and then do all this logistics, procurement, shipment, so that with the help needs where it is needed the most. So he is in the emergency room helping the people. He's an emergency pulmonologist. So I'll request him to share the details, and because he may have to get off because of the his work. So I'll pass on to Prasad ji to share some pointers, and if you any afterwards, if you want to ask any specific question, that you can also share.
Prasad, thank you very much for taking time out. I know your time is very valuable. I know you're on call right now and you're still joining us. We cannot thank you enough for making time and joining us. So thank you. Please, go ahead.
Thank you again. Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Adesha Ji, and thank you. So Arunji has explained what we were doing. I will, from the beginning, we are kind of focusing on these 5 areas. Basically, first one was the needs assessment. And in each one of them, I will tell what is going good, what is going wrong, and we can probably get your input and support among other organizations. So in the needs assessment, what we're trying to do is that on the field, what each substrate of people are looking at. Like from the physicians, we got some input, we got some obviously from the general public, and that needs assessment is our pulse on the field. And so far we have identified the oxygen concentrators. Being in the field as an ICU physician, I know that as the patients gets worse, their needs go from oxygen concentrators to high flow meters to non-invasive ventilators, BiPAP, and then finally towards the ventilator. So we thought procuring all of those are obvious needs. And then we also thought the need is there to decrease the load to the emergency rooms and then the hospitalizations. So we thought of having a telehealth platforms. So there is a ongoing movement to have about 1,000 doctors or so with some 60 rooms in each of the platforms. So if it is well matured and once it is reaching the capacity, full capacity, somewhere around each doctor can see 6, so 360. So almost like 300,000 patients can be seen each day by these doctors in United States. So the platforms, the number of people available, and the time zones. So post work, they can give about 4 to 5 hours. So that's what volunteers are doing. So that's another need where we can get these patients when they are at home, and if they can be at home without panicking. So that's our goal. So that we can identify the actual people who need to be in the hospital. So trying to coordinating with the government of India to see, so mainly to see if they can give us that additional link. If we know that the patient needs to be admitted, right now this telehealth doesn't work anywhere because we can't give that sign out to somebody. So this person needs it. So somebody needs to take over. So that's a government work. And I think, so we are collaborating with the government. There are a couple of meetings coming up. So that's another need that we have in addition to procuring the equipment. And that's number 2. The first one in the needs assessment. So the procurement part of it is like whatever the needs are assessed, oxygen concentrators or BiPAP machines or CPAP machines, through various sources, and here we're trying to recruit. From the beginning, we thought it is not a good idea for us to buy the equipment in India, because otherwise we're competing with everybody else and raising the prices. So instead, everything should be going in rather than bought inside India. So we got 4,000 units of oxygen concentrators, BiPAP, CPAPs. We are buying them. High flow, we are not sending it this time because the oxygen production and also transport is a problem at this time. So the other one is the non-invasive ventilators and the ventilators. Ventilators is a little bit tricky because it does involve somebody who's experienced to handle them. So we have three types of ventilators: the traditional ventilators who are in the ICU, where the patient is monitored, need to be on sedation, that needs ICU setup. When we talk about the ventilators, it is different than any other thing. So I kind of compare it to the plane. So you can buy the planes, but if there is no pilot who is experienced, plane can do the wrong thing. Same thing with the ventilators too. So that's why it's very important that distribution of the ventilators is one of the things that we're focusing on, to make sure that it goes to the right people, nobody is harmed by that, and that there is accountability and equity, and then maintenance of it afterwards. So that's about the ventilators. We have these three types of ventilators. So we got some from Philips, and then we also have some emergency field ventilators, so which are a briefcase kind of a thing. So they can get legs and they can be lost. So those we are going to get it within the organization. The field ventilators, we want to give it to the individual doctors than corporate hospitals. I think in this scenario, we were talking with Arunji last night. It's not finalized, but one of our options is to give it to the doctors and portray the doctors and medical staff in this time as the heroes, and that collaborating with the doctors may be a good idea. So all the doctors in this critical care society in India, once we identify, we can give them the machines. So that way there is a good relationship, because it is very important for us to establish a relationship with the critical care doctors and anesthesiologists in India. So if we support them, they may be able to support us in the field problems in the future, and we'll increase our network of that. So then the co-vents are the other type of ventilators, which are like rescue ones. And those are the three types of ventilators we're trying to procure and then distribute in a proper way. The third thing is the logistics. I think we have these industry relationships, and UPS, FedEx, Air India, and that's an ongoing process. We have gotten some supplies that we procured are going to be shipped at a nominal price. A lot of them are freely sent at this time. And we will take Amitabhji's help also if we kind of run out of our avenues to send it out. So that will be good to have a secondary station from Chicago, and the operations for the logistics can be coordinated between the two teams. The fourth one is the distribution. Oxygen concentrators, we are not having any problem. The local team in Bharat is dividing amongst 16 or so centers and then distributing it to them. Obviously, it's a small number compared to the problem that is out there. So everything helps. So whatever we can do, we are going to send them out there. Then we talked about the distribution planning for the ventilators and other support devices. And I'll take 1 minute for about this telemedicine thing. So telemedicine helpline is in collaboration and coordination between the various physician bodies over here with API, American Association of Physicians of India, which has about 200,000 physicians here. It's the second largest body after the American Medical Association. So we are trying to have inroads into that, and then coordinating this telemedicine efforts. There are at least 1,000 in them and 200 or so on our side. So collaborating with them. And there's also SWAPNA, which is a women's physicians organizations. And also we're going to get local non-Indian physicians also at one point once we have established this. So in this one, the needs are going to be individually, everybody is doing it in silos, but what we are trying to do is a consortium so that it can be on the other end is Indian government and its organizations, and this side it's all these organizations together so that the needs are well coordinated. So the problems we have is the liability, which is taken care, and then the platforms. We have 3 platforms here, and then for the main problem we have is, like I mentioned earlier, is after the evaluation, if some action need to be done, there's nothing at the field that can, in a medical way, to be able to easily coordinate that care. So if we let these patients be at home as much as possible and decompress the pressure on the hospitals, and then divert them to COVID care units, and also the pre-COVID care or triage units or COVA centers. So those are the things that we are planning to establish. So I think I will take any specific questions, but I wanted to address these efforts.
Is very, very helpful. Thank you, Prasadji. Thank you very much.
So much.
So that you have some specific questions that you had.
Prasadji responded to nearly 80% of the questions I had in his description. So that was wonderful. But another question I had is going back a little bit and trying to understand why this second phase of COVID, the second wave, is so critically dangerous and it's spreading so fast. So I wanted to have his professional opinion in terms of what is happening in terms of the, people are talking about triple mutant variety. People are talking about specific changes that are coming from a strain that is coming in from Punjab to Delhi, which is much more infectious. So Prasadji, you are, as a professional doctor, you can tell us more about why this is so devastating. Is there something inherent in the mutants, or is it? Tell us more about why this is so devastating and why it is spreading so fast.
I think it is multifactorial. If I have to take from microscopic to macroscopic, I'll start with the coronavirus itself, which is the mutant. So the mutations are expected because the longer the virus survives in the new environment, it's trying to constantly improvise on it. Like we see life under God or divinity in every being. So I see the divinity in corona also. The intelligence is brilliant in a way. It is, even though it's a common enemy for us, we got to respect the enemy. So I think that is one aspect of it. It is that that viral mutations are very, very common. Even though some statistics they said is like all the coronaviruses can be fit into one room, but it is devastating the whole world. So that mutant thing is definitely one important thing. The new thing about this virus compared to last wave in India, at least, is like from the field, what I gathered is like only 10 to 15% of the people were requiring oxygen last year. But this time it's almost like 30 to 35%. So there is a rapid, for whatever reason, there is more lung involvement, more lung damage, more oxygen requirement this time than compared to last time. So that's at the microscopic level what is happening. Two, I think the second aspect is at the people level. I think the guard was way let down quite a bit. So that pseudo security that vaccines are available, pseudo security that there are people, probably people who died, they don't see them. People who survived, they see. And there are people who, it's like a herd mentality in a way that if there are not many number of people who are wearing the mask, naturally you feel uncomfortable wearing the mask, even though you want to wear a mask. So it's more psychological thing that kind of creeped up slowly. And then the virus has really taken rapid action very, very quickly. So that's about the people psychology. The vaccine is like, we are not there. I mean, it's going to take a long time for that herd immunity to develop vaccine. So 2 to 3 weeks after the vaccine was given, that's when you get the full immunity. I think those are the major factors I can think of. Unless you have anything specific, because it's a big topic in itself, and obviously I do not know. My limits are there. Obviously.
No, thank you, Prasadji. This is very fascinating and it's very tragic at the same time.
1 minute. I'm sorry.
While Prasadji is coming back, let's go to Amitabh ji. And then Renuji. So Amitabh, and then we'll go to Krishna, who's a student in 9th grade, and she's calling to kind of describe what she is contributing to the community as well. Okay, Prasadji is back. So
Prasadji is back. I just wanted to highlight the point.
Sorry to interrupt. I have to leave in 5 minutes, so I would really like to describe my efforts towards and VHB's efforts towards
Sure,
moving
Krishna,
on.
go
And
ahead.
I have
Yeah.
some
Okay,
questions that I
Prasadji,
would
can you
like to
hold for
address.
5 minutes?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, go ahead, Krishna. So,
Okay,
Krishna,
so
tell us a little
I
bit about
wanted to
yourself before you start, because most of us have not met. We don't know you. So, tell us a
Hi,
little
my
bit
name
about yourself. Where you're from, and what are you? What grade are you in, and all that.
Got it. My name is Grisha. I'm from Maryland and I'm in 9th grade. I go to Franklin High School. I've been working with VHPA to help with COVID relief since last year, starting around December, and currently we're working on promoting social media, promoting everything on social media, and raising awareness about what's going on in India right now, and trying to just get people to know about what's happening down there, and really just getting that awareness there, so that can help with fundraising efforts. And I really hope that we can take this further and help as many people as possible as we can in India.
So, if
With
there are high
this
school students who
situation.
want to be involved and they want to find out how they are doing things, can they through Mahendra Bhai, can they get in touch with you, and you can tell them what you're doing in detail?
Yeah, sure. Well, we've been working with Mahendra Uncle's been he's been leading this whole thing, and he's done a fantastic job. So he connects with us, and we try our best to reach out to other people and informing them about the situation. We've been working with other schools, and we're trying to get our own schools to know about this and the service clubs up there, so maybe they can help with the efforts. And it's just a continuous fight against just getting that awareness, getting the news out, and getting money in, and fundraising, and just constant support for the situation.
That is so good to hear. It takes everyone in the society, whether you're in high school or whether you're in college, or people who are working in various fields, including the medical field, like Prasadji is doing. I think every single effort counts. So we are so grateful and thankful to all the students who are doing this. In Hindu Dharma, we say Seva Parmo Dharma. It is the highest form of worship in many ways, right? So I'm so glad that you and the students in your high school and middle school are actually working in this and serving the community. There's no bigger joy in life than serving others, and it's mostly you're doing it because you feel good, right? It's not just helping other people, but you yourself would feel good about it, right? Is that what you think?
Definitely. That's whatever you said is absolutely true. I'm more than honored to be helping other people, and the joy that I get from knowing that I'm able to make a difference in other people's lives, it is just very touching. And I really hope to help as much as I can as we continue to help people in India. And I'm just very happy that I'm able to be here and do this. So
Thank you very much. And
thank
you're
you
a
very
really
much.
articulate speaker. So thank you very much. You presented it so well.
Thank
you for all
you.
that you're doing. And thank you for coming on the show and presenting what you're doing. You are absolutely a great speaker on and you articulate things really well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to take your leave, and we're going to continue fighting. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. So that back to you.
Yeah, no, I was just, it was
You were
very
talking to Prasadji. Prasadji is also back.
Yes. So I was going to highlight the point that Prasadji made, which is that in this second wave, we need more close to 30% people who need oxygen support, which means at the level of the lungs and respiratory level, there is far more urgency and far more infectious damage being done by the new variants of the virus, which is something that needs to be told to the entire world, and especially from people in America who are not very aware of what's going on. So, Prasad, I have another second question for you. When do you think the herd immunity will kick in, and or at what percentage of vaccination do you think it's going to happen, or in general, what is your informed prediction, if I can put it that way?
Well, if the infection rates are protective, people who are infected, they are protective. There is some amount of herd immunity from that. There is a theory that infections are not that long-lasting immunity as opposed to, say, vaccination. So that's still debatable. So people who got infected got better. That's one population. Number two is the vaccinated group. If the combined total of these two is going to be about 50 to 60% of the population, then you have the pressure on the virus so to not be able to spread. So the more transmissions it has, more chances that it becomes mutant. And the more mutant it becomes, then the vaccine-related immunity can be a problem, like influenza-related flu. Flu-related one is always a issue. So every year it changes the antigenicity. So that's why we don't develop enough of immunity for the previous virus. So there's antigenic shift and an antigenic drift. Antigenic shift is a slow shift, and suddenly there is a drift where there's a big drift. So these are the two reasons why influenza every year seasonally will have a different mutant that comes up and then circulates between southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. So hopefully it is not going to have the same characteristics as influenza. So then we are talking about completely new world going forward.
That is scary, and at the same time very, very helpful to know, because this is something that we have been dealing with over the last year and a half, and nobody out there knows what's going on and how it can be predicted. So thank you so much for giving us this very informed opinion. And this also sends a message to everybody who is listening, especially people in India, that do not take this lightly. In the first wave, India was extremely well prepared, and India did a fantastic job. But as we can see, the second wave has devastated huge sections of the population. And I think it's everybody's responsibility in America as well as in India. And we have listeners in both places to take this very seriously. Thank you so much for this, Dr. Prasad. And back to you, Ajay Bhai.
So let me get Renuji in. She might have another engagement, and I want to hear from Renuji some details. And Amitabh ji will come to you next, and then we'll give a call for specific actions, or maybe combine the two. So Renuji, over to you. Please tell us.
All I want to share is that VHP has taken up a project for really a cremation process. Like the wood firing cremation has become very scary right now. There's not really much wood available. So I received a phone call from Prashant Hartalkar-ji, is a international coordinator for VHP under Bharat Kalyan Pratishthan, the Seva project, that we can do cow dung log machine, and the cremation can be done through the cow dung. And this was a very inspiring and very interesting. Everything started 2 days back, really, and he sent me the whole proposal, which I have prepared. We have posted on our website vhp-america.org. As what we have done is determined how to prepare a cow dung log, that machine, and then cremation cage, where that cremation will take place. So the both package together is $1,500 a package, and they will be installed in different shamshan, different cremation places, or even given to the camps. Like Hindus from Pakistan, they are planning to give some to them. So these are the very viable and long-term projects, but implementation will be really ASAP. So in 2 days' time, we already have collected almost like 1,500, 100 places already are there. And we had a goal of 100, but now we are going to extend it. So this is not the right one, Ajay.
Oh, this is not the right one. Sorry. Why don't we go ahead? I'll bring it up.
So what I'm going to do is just to make sure things are implemented. Monday, we are going to send the money for 50 of the cages and the machine. to Bharat. And I will ask them to give a report in 2 days where they have been implemented and how they are working. They're already in the process of working from last 2 years. And this is by Vasudha Foundation. They are going to make. So Made in India. Plan is to give more employment to the local people and use the gobar from different Goshala, which is in plenty. So we VHPA plan to keep promote this project for quite long time. But at this time, I want to go week by week and see the implementation of those machines and cages, which is very important. So once I get the report, they are going to post it, and then we keep on collecting. But what we have told them is keep on ordering the machines, and as the machines are coming, we are sending the money, and you are implementing it ASAP. So I have a whole proposal ready. I would like to send to Seva International and other organizations. So we don't need to duplicate the effort. Whatever we are doing, just let's do all together, and and work it. So we are happy to see a very good response, and I'm hoping that we'll promoting it very well. Just visit website, and I will send the proposal to everybody. Thank you.
One more thing, Renuji, while you're at it, the Support a Child program was also supporting organization in India, which is doing COVID relief as well, right? Can you spend a couple of minutes talk about that?
In the first phase of this whole promotion, we did help them, and there were a lot of work was being done by different hostels.
Okay.
Right now, it has not started, or at least I have not got the report yet. But I would like to see that maybe on Support a Child website, we can promote some donations to, and what they have been helping is really families and children who are really staying home or staying at the hostels, or giving the money, food to or medicines to nearby neighborhood. Okay, so like in the villages, when there is no employment or no work, and they did tremendous job in the first wave. So I'm hoping the second wave also will be able to do something. But till I see a solid report from India, I don't want to really raise fund. I don't believe in that, because we have to have a project and see the implementation, and then raising fund, I'm seeing, is not a problem, because people are willing to give. So, I'm keeping an eye on that also.
Right, and Renuji, I was also reading that some children, I don't know the magnitude of it, are being rendered, orphan because both their parents have passed away and things like that, and that is probably another opportunity for Support a Child to serve the community.
Oh, I agree completely. I mean, we are all open. We are all open, helping children in staying in orphanages, or doing the sanskar shala, or staying in the hostels. But see, the thing is that things have to come from India. So as the things are progressing, we are willing to help.
Right.
But I'm in constant touch with Bharat team, and looks like food-wise they are okay at this time. A lot of food has been distributed, and there is not really dire need of the food. But I think more is the need of this, ICU and oxygen things. But I think this cremation thing will be coming along very well. But I would like to see Support a Child help some children in Bharat, and I think in a couple of days we'll post that also.
Okay, let me go next to Amitabh ji and then I'll we'll go to Arun ji. So Amitabh ji, tell us specific things that you have done, and give a call and appeal that you want to make for people to, where do they go, how do they donate, but also if you want to share some more details about ongoing collections that you've actually finished, because when you were speaking first, I told you that hold your thought and I'll come back to you. So it took a little while to get back to you, but we are back, and please tell us more, and also share with us how people can contribute.
Thank you, Ajay again. One thing I wanted to add to what Renuji said about the project that she's working on, it is self-sustainable project because it has an income part for wherever the machines are going to be installed. So there's not that issue that ongoing support or some special needs are going to be there. These are income generating locations, so they will be self-sustained. So that is one good part about this project initiative that Nirunji has brought. I wanted to share some pictures and slides to show what we did from Chicago. And then this is, you can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, these are the three machines on the left that you guys see. They're worth combined over $1 million. And on the right, we have, this is Neera Patel. He is the local Chicago chapter president. And then we have the generous Dr. Umang Patel, who donated the entire fund for purchasing of these equipment. And I handed it over to VHPA for logistics operation. And this whole idea was brought up by Mr. Nimesh Jani, who was a trustee at the Schaumburg Township, and then myself. That I arranged it with the logistics company with my past experience and connections, putting it together, getting it on board the flight. We, like I said, on the 429, we had the equipment in a warehouse in Chicago, and the very next day, it's in India. And we had a tweet from the aviation minister that the machines have arrived in Bharat. And I wanted to move on from that one over to the, they're already on their way to the various hospitals. Like I said, there's a video from Bharat we received. Can you hear it or?
We don't see a video. You're still on PowerPoint.
Okay. 1 second. Can you hear my sound or no?
No.
Okay, let's try again.
Yeah, we can hear you.
थैंक यू VHP, थैंक यू डॉक्टर उमंग पटेल। आपने जो सामान भेजा है उससे कोविड के पेशेंट्स को बहुत हेल्प हो जाएगी। अब ये गाड़ी लोड हो गई है, अब ये जाने के लिए रेडी है। थैंक यू।
So this is one set of equipment that is going to a local hospital in Gujarat that is prepared. And, the two other machines are, again, I said, the NDRF is deciding where they go through the local NGO that we work with. It's the Udna Rotary Foundation. And they will be deciding where they go. Okay, this is the tweet from the, hold on, I'm going the wrong way, I think. There's the, and then yesterday, we sent out about 150 units of oxygen generators from Chicago. This is 6 a.m. in the morning. We're in the warehouse for delivery of this cargo, and it went out yesterday itself. So it's already in Bharat as of this morning in Delhi. This is through Art of Living Jaina Society. This is Vinesh Virani ji, who is the local chapter vice president. 1 second. And then this is Dinesh Bhai. He is the trustee at the Jain Society of Chicago. Vandana Chinganji, who is our media coordinator and also a VHPA Karyakarta. Sanjay Bhai Shah, he is also a member of the Chicago chapter, as well as he's on the governing council board of VHPA, and myself again. Not gonna, but doing that. And so these are some of the things, and these are more pictures of the machine that is being delivered there. We have a good relationship with the local office of the Air India. We're in constant touch with the regional manager of the entire Americas, not only US, but when you say America, North and South combined, he is the decision maker. So he was so gracious in providing us immediate space, immediate logistic support at the terminal, so we can get these, emergency equipment out. If you have any specific questions on these machines or what we're doing, other than that, I wanted to take back some time that said, give a report on the last wave of COVID that happened in US side. We did the, people who were stranded here in US, again, with the help of Air India, we were able to accommodate a lot of students and tourists who were stranded in US to get back to Bharat. And at that time, AHOA, which is the Asian American Hotel Owners Association, stepped up and helped VHPA with the funds needed. VHPA did the legwork and the volunteer work, or getting together with the Air India to get the stranded people back home to Bharat.
So Amitabh ji, if people want to contribute, how do they do that?
So people can contribute on our website. This is the VHPA website. Right here is the COVID-19 second wave icon. If you click on that, it takes you to the donate page, and you simply press the donate button and donate.
Perfect. Thank you, Amitabh ji.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time we are going to, talk about this. So as this progresses, we hope we don't have to talk about it again. But we never know. Arunji, over to you. If people want, if any final thoughts, and if people have to want to contribute to Seva International or Seva USA, what is the best way to do it?
As you may know that Seva has been a 4-star charity on the Charity Navigator consecutively for last 4 years, and it is one of the 69 organizations, only 69 organizations with perfect 100 score amongst the thousands of organizations that are rated by Charity Navigator. So that ensures that the accountability, the transparency, all those aspects which are very rigid parameters of the Charity Navigator, we comply with it. Whatever is donated to Seva for the cause, it is used in a very diligent way. All our volunteers, office bearers are volunteers, they are not paid. We do have the paid staff for whom we call as mission-based, mission-focused staff, but that is to run various programs. So tremendous amount of volunteer effort, like Dr. Prasad Garimila, Shrikant Gundavarupu, who are really working overtime at this point of time, and hundreds of Karyakarta like that. In fact, in Bharat, some of the Seva volunteers themselves are under COVID, and in spite of that, they are continually supporting the work. So this is the trust which over the years the volunteers have built, and we are thankful to all the supporters and donors to help us help Bharat and across the world, especially in USA, everywhere, various programs and this COVID-related campaign to fight the COVID campaign in Bharat. Thanks.
I have a question before we go
ahead,
Ajay. I have a question for Arunji. So there has been a lot of activity in the political social front in America. And the State Department, the White House have been giving statements on COVID in India and a lot of things. So I was curious, as an organization which has done such an amazing work with such a big footprint, both in America as well as in India, has Seva International been contacted by the State Department or the White House? Is there any activities that you have been involved with in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, we do work closely with the federal agencies, local government, local agencies, and this time we are also, in fact, last week only we have received an invitation from State Department, USAID. They are doing a conference, and they had invited board member of Seva, and our board member and I will be joining that meeting tomorrow, and sharing the efforts as well as understanding and sharing the details from the ground. So that is with the State Department, it is first time, but we had been really very, very closely working with FEMA and local agencies across the country very effectively, because we augment each other. We are really able to serve better and increase our reach and help the resources reach where the need is.
That's wonderful. So I would request everybody who is listening and everybody who is in the United States to reach out to their senators, to their lawmakers in their districts, to their county supervisors, to let them know the work that Seva is doing. It is important that it's not just the American Hindu communities or the Indian American or South Asian communities that know about this. It's important that every American gets to know about this. It's important that they become participants in this. They get a choice to be part of this effort. So reach out to your lawmakers, let them know what Seva is doing, and let them put the word forward.
And so there is also a grassroots effort that is happening in Washington, D.C. area. And Mahendra Bhai Sapa, who is the president of the Maryland chapter, he has taken a very unique approach, and he just called in to this show. And maybe Mahendra Bhai, if you can take a minute and talk about the cricket community that you've gotten involved in COVID-related Seva, and then we'll kind of close this out with our regular segments. So Mahendra Bhai, if you can just please, you have a very unique idea to get the cricket playing community involved in the COVID Seva. Can you please talk about it?
Sure, definitely. We in Maryland, we do have a cricket league called crickmcl.com, Maryland Cricket League. and we are roughly 20-30 teams participating. So we have reached out to cricket players on an individual basis to support this noble cause in this time of need. In addition to that, I have also initiated reaching out to individual leagues that are in the surrounding DC area, and they are actively considering to become a co-sponsor towards our effort doing the fundraising. So that way we can provide more and more support in Bharat in terms of oxygen, or like facilitate cremation services, or whatever, and whatever help that is been needed. So I am very much grateful to the local cricket community and many of the leagues that have come forward to support this noble cause, noble effort done by World Hindu Council of America.
And you could probably go national with this, not just in a DC area, right?
Well, I have initiated few conversations. I would like them to become formal. Before we go ahead and make an announcement.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mahendra Bhai. Keep up a great work. We get inspiration from you all the time for all the activities that you do. So that unless you have any final thoughts,
I have just one shout out to give to Vivek Gupta from the Washington DC area, who is working with Visa International, and he spent the last 4 days working with his company's leadership to make a 2:1 matching donation from Visa for this COVID relief effort. I believe his funding went to Seva International. So shout out to Vivek Gupta, who is in this area. And I'm pretty sure there are hundreds and hundreds of Vivek Guptas out there who are working day and night to make their small little difference for this cause. So,
and that's such a good point, important point, because I was reading every city, every location in America, there are local communities that are working on this, and not just us.
Yeah,
absolutely true.
If I can also just mention that really this is a positive thing we have observed. A lot of corporations have come forward, a lot of individuals have come forward during this time. I have personally received calls from individuals whom we did not know, or they did not know much about Seva, but after reading the efforts, checking us out completely on the Charity Navigator and all the efforts that are going on, they have just within 10 minutes committed 100,000, 200,000, 250,000 also. The corporations reached out to us, and we are very grateful to them for their kind-heartedness and the support and trust that they have showed on us. They have donated $250,000, $1 million. Many organizations, corporations have placed that. And matching donations, all those things, donors, we are really grateful to them for opening their heart. This is something which is touching everyone's heart, because the challenge is huge, and it is not just going to impact India. It is, if it is in India today, it is going to be impacting the world over also. So I am glad that the whole world is responding positively and trying to curb or meet this challenge. SevaUSA.org/donate is the place where anybody can reach out. All the information of where to send the check, wire transfers, Venmo, all those things are there on that page. Thanks.
Thank you, Arunji. Amitabh ji, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to share the video of, I couldn't find it earlier, but I just find it if I can get like literally a 1 minute video of Dr. Umang Patel. Just wanted to share that.
Sure.
1 second. I'm just going to share the main screen because then it's not.
Yeah, we can see it.
We get a call of action here. Yeah, this just and we want to thank Dr. Umang Patel.
Amitabh ji, audio is not very good for some reason.
Over $1 million to Vishwa Hindu Parishad that is allowing us to send this life-saving equipment to Bharat in this current COVID situation. We are thankful to you, Doctor, so much. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks from all of the members of Vishwa Hindu Parishad here, as well as all over the world. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Amitabh ji. It's very heartwarming to see that. Right. With that, we come to the end of the COVID-related, part of the show, and we have 3 to 4 minutes. I mean, if our guests have other commitments and they have to leave, I fully understand that. Thank you very much for joining. Namaste. If you can stay around
Namaste.
for another 5 minutes, you'll get to see the rest of the show that we do usually. We have 3 regularly scheduled. Segments, and one of them is called the Hindu Good News of the Week. The other one, and it's actually COVID related, so you may want to stay around to see that. Other one is Hindu Seva Act or Seva Charity. We pick one Seva organization, sometimes two. You may want to stay around for that as well. And this time it's related to COVID. And the third one is our regularly scheduled Hindu Phobe of the week segment, or we can call it Hindu Hater of the Week. Hindu Phobe is the word we are formally using. So with that, Utsada, let's dive right into it, and let's talk about the Hindu Good News of the Week. So Utsada, I don't know how many people saw this, and this is really, really heartwarming. I want to show this picture, and this is a Swayamsevak in Bharat. And this is what a true Swayamsevak does, right? And I look at this Swayamsevak, Narayan Dabalkar. He was at a hospital, Utsada. He's 85 years old. He saw a younger patient who was in his 40s. He was getting his ventilator and he stopped. When he saw the other person not getting ventilator, he said he has lived his life to the fullest, and he, gave his ventilator away to this younger person. And he attributed that to the prerna or the inspiration that he got from Sangh. He passed away at his home. Okay? He literally gave his life to another person. He literally gave his life to save another person. I mean, I don't know if that is not an inspiration that we can all learn from. This is an example of a Swayamsevak who is truly not only in name, but who actually has embodied the good qualities that all his life, from his younger days to his 85 years of old age, all these decades that he spent in Sangh, that he got inspiration from. So that we call this the good news of the week, but really this is sad news in many ways, but it is so inspirational, and it's so positive for this society, for the community to learn from, that even though this is sad, I would put this as the good news of the week. Utsada, you want any comments, or any of our guests?
That is true, Ajay bhai. And it's sad to call it a good news of the week, but what was done is shows the values that people carry at their innermost core, and these are the values that makes the Indic civilization, the Dharmic civilization, so resilient, so powerful, despite everything that people have gone through in that part of the world over the last 1,000 years. It is these individuals, these people who give everything, and it comes from the innermost core of the individual. What was done here is a very clear understanding of the values that comes from the civilization. And Narayan Dabolkarji deserves our greatest respects for his sacrifice. This is a sacrifice of the week news, not a good news of the week news, in my opinion. And I think we should call it as that. And
so that it's really, one thing, people who are opposed to Hindutva and people who who hate Hindus civilizationally, they will never understand where the inner strength of Hindus come from, and they will never understand what Hindutva is all about. This is what Hindutva is all about. Okay, this is what we fight every day to preserve. This is why we fight every day, and we do advocacy. This is why we have survived for 8,000 years and have not perished like all other civilizations. Amitabh ji, you want to add something? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to relate this to the Seva projects going on in Bharat, because my wife asked me the other day, and I think many people have that question mark, that, hey, who is deciding when you're sending all this equipment? Will it go to the right people? Or will it be, be taken advantage of, that we are foolishly sending all this? And I said, I tell you a simple thing. It is going to people like your father-in-law, will be my father, and it's going to people like your father. And Navalkarji is an example of that philosophy that our fathers grew up in. So all this help is going in the hands in Bharat, in the capable hands of people like Navalkarji, who will give their life to save another life. So people just need to understand that this Seva Karya we are doing, it is done through people who are dedicated their life to protect the humanity. Thank you.
Yep.
And my naman to Navalkarji.
Yeah, Arunji, you've been, Swayamsevak since childhood. If you want to please add something, go ahead.
Seva in our scriptures is defined as the effort, in fact, the only means of karma yoga. Any action karma which becomes yoga when it is done selflessly and if it is done for others. And that is why Seva is considered as a spiritual journey. And this example is kind of what this our senior Swayamsevak has set for us, how to look beyond the self, look for others, and every moment serve others. This is what real Seva is. This is the Karma Yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me move on to our regularly scheduled second segment, and that is the Hindu Seva and Charity Act of the Week. And we usually play this music before we talk about that. So let me first play the music. So this week we have two. Usually we have only one, and we have featured Seva International and VHP America many times. But this time, the twins of Hindu community Seva pillars in American society, Seva International and World Hindu Council of America, VHPA, both of them are nominated and for the Seva Act or Seva Charity or of the Week. And please go to sevausa.org or vhpamerica.org and make your contribution. They will, as we have seen, heard from our guests, we have seen before, this money will be used for good cause. There will not a single penny donated to either one of these two organizations will ever be wasted. So please do go to one of the websites and make a contribution. And finally, the Hindu phobe of the week, and or Hindu hater of the week, or whichever way you want to call it, Hindu dweshi of the week. Sorry, this was not what was intended. Let's go to the next slide here. So we talk about abductions and forced conversions all over in Pakistan, but this is in Bangladesh. And so this is an emergent new thread and a new threat to the Hindu community in Indian subcontinent. Here is a girl who was forcibly abducted and converted. So, I mean, since you can read Bengali, tell us what it says and tell us why this is, why this is important for Hindus all over the world to know. And this is the country that is not even country of particular concern, but India is when it comes to USCIRF, correct?
That is correct. And Ajay, as we have been doing over the last 51 episodes, this is the segment where we don't want to even mention this segment or have it, but unfortunately every week we end up with too many items to actually mention. So, it is in the western part of the Indian subcontinent, you have a country called the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which had on an average every year, by Western reporting standards. So, many of these reports are not available to the rest of the world, but even the Western reporting standards mention 1,000 Hindu women, most of them underage, being kidnapped and converted to Islam. And unfortunately, the same trend is getting more and more visible in what is Bangladesh. Unfortunately, the geopolitics of the region is such that they don't find redressal either in America, in Europe, or in India, the people who should be talking about it. And unfortunately, in Bangladesh, the Hindu community is dwindling. They face more and more threat as the country radicalizes more and more. So this is a trend that is increasing. And, it is up to us as a community to stand up to it, to bring it to the notice of the highest authorities in whichever country we are living in, and to make the people responsible, accountable for it, and more importantly, to prevent it in future. So again, this is a very sad story, and it almost makes us feel that Hindus are children of a lesser being, and that is how in many parts of the world they are looked at, and that is a grave abuse of human rights by any standards. So
and look at the contrast, Utsoda. I mean, we talk about Davolkarji, who sacrifices his life, right? Inspired by Sangh philosophy, inspired by Hindu civilization. And on the other hand, we look at the people who would abduct an underage girl and forcibly convert. And so what we are doing is we are fighting to preserve the civilization that inspires good in all of the world, and not force itself into submission. That is what the real struggle is. And when we go back to where we started, selfless service, seva, was our theme today. And look at the organizations, look at the people, whether it's Seva International, the World Hindu Council of America, VHPA, Support a Child. And people are dedicating their lives, and they're dedicating lives to serve the society, not to abduct underage kids and forcibly convert them. And that difference, if that is not stark, if people cannot relate to that, then I don't know what, then we could say that the humanity is lost somewhere there, right? I think I really, every day I look at the work that Seva International, VHPA, people like Arunji, people like Amitabhji, people like Renuji, Prasadji, they are doing, or even Karishma, the kid from the 9th grade is doing, Mahendrabhai is doing. That makes me, wake up every day and say, how can I do my little part in all the great work that these guys are doing? And I cannot thank them enough for taking their time out. I know we are 29 minutes over today. That, we are usually 5 or 10 minutes over, but I really appreciate Arunji and Amitabhji and Renuji, Prasadji for joining. Thank you very, very much. I hope we don't have to do this kind of show again, but please keep up the good work. If another need arises, if this continues, please do join us again. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Soda, thanks for joining as well. And namaste.
Namaste, everybody, and thank you, everybody, for joining.
And I will play our outgoing music, which is specially created for us by Decibel. So on to the outgoing music, and we will see everyone next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Before we go, don't forget to talk about Seva to your friends. Each person who is listening to us, tell 10 other friends about it. Write to your lawmakers, write to your senators.
Thank you, Soda. And on to our music, and thanks again. Namaste.